So let's introduce our first presenter, Brandon. So Brandon, go ahead and just give us some background on you and what do you guys do, and did you have any prior real estate experience and how that happened?
No, I started out oil and gas.
Hold this a little closer.
Yep, can you hear me? I started out in oil and gas operations. Did that for about 10 years. And obviously, if you've been in a corporate job for 10 years, you get a little bit tired of that. So look for some other options. I always wanted to retire, around 35 or something like that. So real estate really was the only thing that kind of had an end possibility that you could do that. Obviously not staying in Corporateville was going to retire me at 35. So started listening to Dell on the radio and bought my first duplex and single family just from the advice that he gave us on the radio. But shortly after that, we did join Lifestyles in 2015. And
said, hey, wow, this works. Let's join. Yeah.
Yeah. We tested it with a couple houses, and yeah. So then after that, we got into some passive deals. I started to do aspiring lead, looked for my own property for a while, and then we purchased 16 unit as a lead, and then bought a few more houses in there too, and then we currently own a 42 unit as a lead, but then this year we got a little bored, so we bought 5 more houses this year.
They're addictive, aren't they?
Yeah. They're very profitable, is the thing.
Yeah, and it's great that you were able to shift from what made sense. Where's the money being made, and you have 2 different models to go, 3 different models in your case. So you went lead, passive, and single family.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So you heard Dell on the radio. You wanted to retire at a young age. You couldn't find similar programs that was the right mix, and so tell us about this property coming up.
Okay, so this is the first one that we bought when we started buying more this year. This one's up in Dayton, Texas, right outside of Houston.
Y'all know where Dayton is? Yes. Yeah? All right.
We got it from one of the single-family mentors here, Conturi Cooper. Do you want to go over the financials or?
No. We'll go through the rehab here.
Okay.
She's cute on the outside.
Yeah, so
Right?
when I first saw this, it was like, oh, the before and after, what's the difference? So for those that haven't done your first property, they all don't look like they need to be bulldozed, right? There are lighter rehabs. This rehab was under $30,000. So let's just talk about the rehab for a second.
Okay. So here's the kitchen before and after. Is that the one we're looking at? This one, right?
Yeah, the kitchen.
So, yeah, we just put in some new cabinets, painted the cabinets, put in new appliances, put a backsplash in, undermount sink, and redid the flooring with vinyl, glue-down vinyl plank flooring.
And this is pretty much your basic package that you'll see with a lot of the bids. Nothing, we're going for clean, safe, and functional, nothing too crazy, workforce housing. But you did say the location of this is a little bit nicer location than what you have seen.
Yeah, it's outside of Houston, kind of suburbs, so it's, safe.
So a picture of the subfloor there that needed to be worked on.
Yeah, we bought this house, and the people were obviously trying to rehab it, and they kind of failed, and so they have flooring all over the place, and, they didn't do any subfloor repairs or anything like that. So we went in and repaired the subfloor, and then got one of the vendors to do the flooring, and they do a fantastic job. Fantastic floors, actually.
Yeah. And that's real common also. Some of the opportunities that are going to be pushed to you, somebody started a rehab and just for whatever reason didn't finish it. They ran out of money, ran out of issues, didn't have the skills, whatever. And so a lot of times you'll be picking up, and that's probably one reason why this was a lighter rehab maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of the bedrooms here. Obviously, it looks pretty rough. There was actually grass growing in the middle of the house. There's dirt there. Electrical hanging out everywhere.
It's a terrarium right there. Right?
Yeah. So, yeah, and these same pictures didn't look the same. So we reframed all that out, did a lot of drywall work, and the same flooring.
Did it have window AC units, or was that something you had to put in? Was the central AC?
It had central AC in it, and we kept the one that was there. It was functioning pretty good. So.
Okay. So here's your kitchen again, another angle.
So yeah, we didn't change much. We took out, sometimes there's these goofy dividers just randomly, so we took that out. We made a little pocket for a refrigerator. You can't see it in this picture, but then replaced all this flooring, obviously. Then some new lighting.
So who thinks this is a rehab that they could take on? This is pretty reasonable, right? All right, so let's go over the numbers. This is your which house? Your fifth or sixth house?
This was the first one we bought this year,
This year.
out of the 5 that we bought this year.
Bought 5 this year, starting in March. This is one of the latest that you bought. So I'm just going to run through the numbers real quick. So the after repair value, it appraised at 189. The purchase price was 100. Subtract out the rehab of 27 and change. Your closing costs for both closings, hard money and refi, and you're left with a net equity capture of almost $50,000. Very nice. And then cash out of pocket, under $20,000, you've got a cash flow of $1,680, which gives you a cash-on-cash return of almost 9% and a return on equity capture of 254%. That's just one of 6 deals. Very nice. Man.
Thank you.
So
How'd you feel when you did that?
I mean, it feels great to make $50,000.
Look how excited you are. Well, it feels great.
he's numb to it now, right? Oh, this is normal.
How did you feel?
Good.
Good, okay.
Were you skeptical at any time during this process?
No, because we've been doing it for quite some time now. So, I mean, no, not really. I mean, when he initially got into, lifestyles and he told me how much the initial membership fee was, I was like, what?
I think it paid for itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good, very good.
Would anybody in here be excited about 250% capital gains? Yeah, you put on a little more emotion than that? We ruin you when you come in. This is like normal, right? You're like, yeah, it's another day.
So moving on to the small portfolio, you've got 1 in rehab at the end, so that's why I put the estimated. But you can see that they're all solid deals. Obviously, one's got a bit more equity capture. I'm sure there's a story. That was a former residence.
That was actually our former primary residence. It is a rental now, so we did include it in there. But
And before you ask, I asked him, so why haven't you sold it and redeployed it? And the answer is it's in a fast-growing area with very good appreciation, and so it made sense to him that between the appreciation and the cash flow, that was something you're comfortable with for now, and then you've got other sources.
yeah, we have some pretty solid tenants, and they don't bother me at all, and I don't even remember I have the house half the time. We pay off $800 a month in principal, and the value goes up $20,000 a year. So until they move out, if they move out, I will sell it.
But it's nice to have that in the back pocket for the other opportunities that are going to present themselves coming up.
Yeah.
So very nice. So you've added almost $500,000 to your net worth, and you've got an annual cash flow of coming up on $13,000, almost over $12,000 a month. So very nicely done. And remember, 5 of these properties were bought since March. So get in action, be in action.
Is Kansas Street a duplex or something? Cash flow's nice. Or no, it's only $2,000. Never mind.
No, that's for the whole year. No, it's
Okay.
in Lamarck.
Lamarck.
Are you familiar with Lamarck?
Hey, Lamarck's not the hood, right?
It's a little hoodish.
Oh yeah, a little. A little hood, mini hood.
It's got its own issues. So.
Y'all know where Lamarck is? Yes. Anybody from Lamarck? All right. No. You know the area. Okay. We got one dude from Lamarck. All right. He made it out. You grew up there. You made it out. You escaped.
Very good, very good. All right, so how has Lifestyles changed your perspective or changed your life? Anything for the audience that you want to pass on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good venue for retiring early. The houses are pretty simple once you get the hang of them. I buy for equity mainly, and then we sell, in 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it enabled me to retire from my full-time job. My wife still works, but we're working on getting her retired as well. So yeah, it was a really good venue to accomplish that goal. So
Very good, very good. So what's next for you?
So still in the multifamily. We're looking for the right deal coming up. So we're not going to rush into it or anything. But in the meantime, the houses are still there. And, if I can make $40,000, $50,000 a house, I'll buy them. If I have 10 to 20 of them, that'll probably retire both of us. So why not buy them?
And you'll be beautifully positioned when the market changes at some point in the future for higher cash flow properties. So that works out beautifully. All right. So as far as your team goes, can you give a little shout out maybe to the realtors? I don't think the
Yeah,
realtors.
Conturi Cooper was my realtor on this one. He found the deal. He listed the lease for it too, so we leased it through him as well. So, yeah, and Capital Concepts did the hard money and refinance, and then I used a small team that I have for the rehab.
Yeah. So you got some leverage out of the folks that work on your multifamily and using them to do some of the rehab.
Yeah, we do contract work for our small multifamily. So we have over the last 3 years we've found the best painters, the best HVAC, the best plumbers, electrical, and it's basically my friend, my guy Sergio and all his family members. But.
Right. Hey, that works. Build your team. That's what we teach. Build a strong team that you can rely on. And for those of you, Sean Riley was here earlier up on stage. He was telling a little bit about that. So if you see him out there, get his business card. He's been around for quite a while. So thank you so much. We do have time for some question and answers briefly. Do we have anything online at all? Or out in the audience? Question?
No. What's the configuration?
As far as bedrooms and bathrooms, it was 1,300 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And that's the way it was when we started. Sometimes adding a bathroom really adds a lot of value if you can do that, or sometimes they'll have recreational rooms. You turn those into bedrooms and things like that. But this one was already 3-2.
How long was the rehab?
About 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Should be able to go faster than that, but.
You were using your own guys, so you couldn't get too.
You couldn't yell at his contractor because that was you.
I had 5 houses that I was doing.
Yeah, I'm sure you had them running around.
How long did it take to rent them, and how did you rent them? Lease them?
I had the same lifestyles agents list them to lease. A lot of people try to do it on their own and save a little money, but if you're doing a lot of them at the same time, it's easy just to hand it off to them, and they put it on the MLS, and it works well.
Yeah, especially if you try showing them yourself, which we do teach and you can do, it can be time consuming. So finding somebody that will do the leasing part definitely gives you your time back. All right, any other questions?
Perhaps, later on you might already address this, but who helps you out with all the legal documentation?
Your attorney.
Can you repeat the question for the online crowd?
So the question is, who helps you out with the legal documentation?
The only legal documentation I did on a house is the purchase agreement and the financing stuff. So I didn't have a lawyer look over any of that.
All of that goes through title,
Yeah.
which is where the attorney is.
Right,
Right.
so does Lifestyles have recommendations of who to use, or?
Do we have recommendations for that?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a vendor list. You saw one of them get up here, Ernie Garcia, landlord attorney, right?
Yeah.
Right, I just did his commercial for him. There's also, when you do a purchase transaction, everything goes through title, and those are owned by attorneys, right? So you don't have to worry about that. When it comes down to the leasing documents, he hired an agent, right, who is trained and takes care of that. They're a fiduciary, so he doesn't have to worry about that part either, okay? Yeah.
And of course, financing, you got.
Financing goes through through title as well. All that goes through title at the purchase. Yep.
So the question was, what about your insurance? How did you handle that?
So I use USAA, which not everybody has the capability of using it. You have to be your parents or somebody has to be a military to do that. It was a little difficult using USAA for rental properties. I have used other brokers on the vendor list for insurance as well. But yeah, we used USAA.
Definitely shop around. The rates can vary a lot depending on who you go with. And some of these companies don't really want rental properties, so if they do give you a quote, it can be quite high. So just be careful there and talk to your mentor too for some advice. We got a question out here.
All right, got it. Hold on one second.
Sorry. Okay. With your rental properties that you carry insurance on, do you calculate that into how much your renters will pay monthly, or is that like, how do you factor in the cost to compensate for that expense?
Let me address it. So your rent is based on comparables and what the market is, not on what your expenses are.
Okay.
So you need to shop for your expenses, drive those down, but you're not going to be able to charge more rent just because your expenses are higher.
Okay.
So hopefully that's clear.
That's one of those questions that we answer in class.
Okay.
So through the analytics of, is this a deal worthy of buying? We go over all of those upfront costs and how to make sure they're in check before we pull the trigger to buy the property. Okay. Have you taken the class?
I'm scheduled to do it this weekend.
This weekend. All right.
All
with
right.
me.
All
Sweet.
right. So I
We'll have
think
a great time.
in the interest of time, we probably need to move on. But if you have questions afterwards, please get with me or get with Brandon, and we'll be happy to talk with you. All right?
Well, thank you for coming in and giving back.
Thank you.